All right, guys. It's grown men talking baseball cards. Andy, she blinded me with refractors here with Michael Double X the Beast. So, how's the Memorial Day weekend treated you?
Not too bad. It's been good. Hadn't been blazing hot like it has the last couple of weeks, so I enjoyed the day.
Yeah, it's been unusually mild temperatures here. Like it's been in the 60s and rain all day, so no sunshine. Kind of been a blah kind of day, but
Yeah, I think that's what I was telling you earlier. Like I think Saturday before Saturday, the previous 2 weeks had literally been in the hundreds here. We had one day the other day, I think it was 106 for all day, and we've had several days at 102, 105. It's just been crazy. So it's been pretty nice today, being a high of 75.
yeah, that's not bad. So let's talk a little bit of cardboard here. How about that?
I like some cardboard.
It's been gosh, I don't know, a couple of months since we.
Yeah, it's been a hot minute for sure. I went and saw those 3 YouTube videos yesterday for my collection update, and I hadn't really realized it, but it'd been a full 2 months since I'd shot one.
Yeah,
Crazy.
yeah, it's been nuts.
So,
Good evening, Mr. Eric. So let's talk a little bit about just the craziness that has been this hobby over. I mean, it's been crazy for a little while, but particularly the last couple of months. So we were talking a little bit earlier about some of the new products that were out, and you were talking a little bit about 2020 Bowman. So give us a little breakdown on like the now and then, like because you used to break a ton of Bowman. So
yeah, it's crazy. So I told Andy, I said, let's look at it over a 5-year span. And in 2015, a lot of times each year when I get my bonus or things like that, I used to take my bonus and I would buy Bowman, and then I would kind of use that as my money to buy with throughout the year. I would sell what I wanted to sell, keep what I wanted to keep, and then use that as my money and not take any money out of my actual paycheck. So 2015, I bought, it was 37 or 38 hobby cases of 2013 draft. I thought that was the best buy at the time. And so I literally bought that many all within the month or so. I bought those for, some of them I may have even got them for $500. I want to say most of them were $600 a case at that time. All of them from Atlanta Sports Cards. You fast forward to now, and it's hobby cases are selling of Bowman are selling for $3,500, $4,000. Jumbo cases are $4,500. One sold today for $4,500 on eBay. I just checked earlier, and it's crazy when one box costs what a case used to cost. To me, that's just absurd. But I guess if you're getting that much more value out of it, if the cards are selling more, I kind of get it. But I can't imagine a whole lot of people breaking for personal breaks coming out on top on that. Obviously it's geared towards case breakers, which the price doesn't really matter because you're splitting it up amongst 30 people or how many other people. But I'm glad I'm not doing that anymore or relying on that for any type of income or entertainment whatsoever, because literally I'd be buying 3 or 4 cases what I used to buy 25. It's just crazy.
It's a crazy uphill battle when you're starting that far in the hole on just a one case.
Yeah, I can't imagine opening the first. You open that first box up and your color autos some, guy who has a future of being a relief pitcher. I don't even know what I would do. At that point, just sell the rest of the boxes. I guess I don't know.
You pull the the Dick Love ladies of the world, those guys. Yeah, and I think that's been one of the big changes with the unopened stuff is the prices now are geared towards the group breaker and stuff like that. Like it's not much for personal breaks anymore.
No, those days are over. Even I see Eric saying you can't even find retail. Yeah, I looked today, no retail. You go into your local card shops a lot of times too, and the prices are so high. I mean, they're not getting volume, like what they once did. So I mean, they can make get one case. Well, I mean, by the time they up the price any, I mean, gosh, if you're talking a 12 box case of hobby cases, they got to sell it for $400 a box just to make any money. I mean, which is absurd.
Yeah, this is let me pop this up there. This is interesting because I kind of agree with this because I mean there's definitely something going on because yeah, I mean it's the last couple of years, like, the hot releases have been tough to find in retail, but if you stay after it, you can, if you hit up all the Targets on Walmart, you can usually come across something, right?
Mm-hmm.
This year, I mean,
I saw the last 2 or 3 products for sure.
Yeah, I saw Prism basketball once. I've never seen Optic basketball. Haven't seen Mosaic. Haven't seen Bowman. I mean, basically anything that's, especially basketball, like anything basketball, whether it be Donruss, hoops. I mean, yeah, it all is just wiped out immediately. So I think there's probably some stuff going on there with people getting the heads up on the, and then who knows how much of it ever even makes it to the shelf.
That's what I was going to say. A lot of it doesn't make the shelf. A lot of it too, and I'm guilty of this. A lot of us are. The first person to see it gets every bit of it, if it does make it to the shelves.
Well, there's just there's too much money involved at this point. Like, like if you walked into a Target or Walmart today and they had just recently stocked the Mosaic, so you had like blasters, hangers, and like cellos,
megas or whatever.
Yeah, like if they had just stocked all that stuff and you go in and buy all of it, you could go home, sell it on eBay, and within a week you've made $1,000 profit easy.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no doubt about it.
I mean, with never opening anything or Yeah.
No. Yeah. I mean, like I said, I'm guilty of that. If I see it, I'm gonna buy it. I mean, there's no doubt about it.
Yeah. And we kind of talked about this a little bit earlier, just before we started this video, like with the price of unopened stuff just soaring like that. I mean, obviously most of the stuff that gets open is going to be through group breakers, but you've seen a trend towards people just kind of like stashing, hordes of this retail or hobby and just kind of like holding it. So
we're looking at you, Eric.
So yeah. So how many like monster cards will potentially never get pulled due to this?
Oh, I think a ton. I think especially out of the hobby stuff for sure. Certainly out of the first off the line. There's especially the way they're doing the bidding system, stupid Dutch auction crap now. A lot of that stuff's never going to get opened. If it does, it's a group breaker. It's not going to be somebody like you and I just buying it to open it. So yeah, I think you could see a ton of these cards stay in the boxes, and then that just drives the prices up even higher. The longer, like take 2020 Bowman for example, the prices are so high on these cases. If I bought 5 cases, I might open one, and the rest of them I'm stashing back. Well, if the Dominguez Super Refractor auto or even non-auto doesn't get pulled, or some of the reds, you don't see them, those prices are going to keep going up because your odds are increasing of having it. So, I mean, yeah, I'm with you. I think a lot of those cards we'll never see.
That's crazy. I mean, because, you go back to the time period, like when you were busting so much of that stuff, like, there were still group breaks and stuff going on during that time, but, there was a lot more personal breaks that you would see. Personal case breaks or at least hobby boxes and stuff. But man, it's just like Mosaic hobby boxes are like $650. It's like $65 a pack for
that's stupid.
Like that's just difficult for people to stomach that kind of risk with just opening.
You think back too. You think back, that's what National Treasures used to be.
Yeah, I mean, that was like Prism, Mosaic stuff that relatively mid to low end.
I mean, it's more of a base card oriented product where your hits are few and far between as far as hitting a low numbered gold or occasionally, or something like that. But it's definitely not supposed to be driven towards a high end market. It's not the audience, but that's what's happened with it.
So I see a couple of people in the comments. They're talking about the Tops 2020 project. So, and this is something that I don't think that either one of us are really that big into the Tops 2020 project, but man, if you have followed any of the thread on Blowout and just watched this thing, and this is one of those things where everybody wants to be right about about predicting stuff for the hobby. We all want to pat ourselves on the back a little bit, right? Now, when this thing started, I thought it was going to be like a massive failure, right? And the momentum just kept going and kept going, and it's just I've been totally wrong on this thing, because people have just really just like gravitated to it. There's people that there's some people that are trying to collect the whole set. There's some people that are trying to collect like all 20 cards of a certain player. Some people are trying to do like all 20 cards of a certain artist that they like. And it's just brought there's just a huge buzz about this set right now. Like,
oh yeah,
I've never seen anything like it, to be honest.
I'm not an expert on it by any stretch. I've just, looked at auctions and read some of the threads and seen some of the cards, and it's one of these sets that you either, within the set, there's some cards you'll love and some you'll hate, which is kind of odd for collectors. There's some that look really cool. There's some that to me look terrible, and I don't understand why they sell what they do. Then I'll go and look, and it's because of people trying to build sets, and also some of the print runs have a big part to do with it. I know, and it's a very strange product, just across the board. One that I didn't jump on. I'm with you. I didn't jump on the bandwagon early. Now I'm kind of looking at like, man, I wish I'd have got in right off the start, but it's definitely driven by set collectors, it seems, anyways, for sure. Yeah, there's the Ichiro card is anomaly. I looked. We were talking about it earlier, and I went and looked it up a little bit. And I'd heard of it and read about it a little bit, but it wasn't terribly familiar. And I guess that was one of the first ones that they did. And
the first card that came out was the Ichiro, the Ben Baller Ichiro, and then there's the Ermsey Trout has. That thing is selling for as much as like the real 2011 update Trout at this point. It's and I don't know Ichiro, like I don't know what his his Topps rookie sells for, but I know it's not $5,000. So
no.
It's very interesting, and I'm like I kind of dismissed this whole thing at first, but now my interest has been piqued, and shout out to all the guys that got in on this thing early and have been in it from the beginning. And dang, congrats, guys.
It's a cool idea. I'll give them credit. It was a different idea, one that I personally thought was going to fall on its face or be met with very little interest. But hey, you know what? If people are collecting and they're enjoying it, it is what it is. I have no problem with it.
Well, it's one of those things, and this was probably my issue with it in the beginning and I think this is probably a lot of us that have collected for a long time. We kind of get stuck in our ways, and we kind of, we expect certain things out of the products that come out, and some of the stuff that's a little bit different or outside the box. We kind of like shrug it off, but man, like it's been nuts.
We say that, but we're always talking about the first year of any product's life, whether it's Prism in 2012 or whatever it is, and this was kind of the first go at this particular thing, and so the people who noticed that knew it was the first year. It's just they jumped on it and left everybody else in the dust.
I'm with you, Scott. But the part I'm with you with is the last part, though, where I'm probably wrong. I mean, I've been wrong about them all the way so far. So why stop
now?
Yeah, it's crazy. So what do you think, Michael, about there being so much buzz in the hobby and there's so many new people coming in? Like what kind of advice or wisdom could you give to like some of these new collectors, just kind of like some of the things they need to maybe look for or possibly avoid?
Yeah, it's just getting on Facebook and Instagram. I see a lot of people that say, "Hey, I'm back in the hobby," or "Hey, new to the hobby, looking to buy such." You'll see a lot more comments like that now. And for sure, one of the things that I keep hearing, not so much advice, but the people who are coming in are a lot of them I've been hearing are sneakerheads. A lot of people are transitioning from buying some of the high end shoes over into cards now, and so for those people, I would say it's a little bit different because the shoes, I think the shoe market's maybe a little bit more stable than from what I've seen than what the card market is. One advice I would say is, man, be careful buying if you think it's at the absolute peak. Be cautious because you may get stuck with something you don't want. But some of the advice, this is advice that I always have for everybody is do the research on who you're dealing with as much as what you're buying. I mean, it's one thing to get on and love LeBron James cards or Michael Jordan cards, whatever, and you're buying those cards and that's one thing. You can do research on those all day long, but researching who you're dealing with is just as important, in my opinion. It always is. There's some shady characters out there.
Well, that's a great point. And one of the things that I was kind of thinking about is, if you're new or you're just coming back into the hobby after a long break or whatever, there's so much stuff out there, right? So you have to kind of ask yourself, what kind of collector do you want to be, right? Are you going to be a guy that, are you going to try to collect sets? Are you going to just like have fun, open boxes? Are you going to be like a player collector, rookie card collector? You kind of like, and you don't have to limit yourself to just one or the other, but it's so easy just to like, none of us can get everything. So it's so easy just to like be all over the place. And then you kind of like sit down one day to look at your collection and it's just like so random, like there's really no rhyme or reason to it. And I think one of the things that I've always tried to do, and because I think you and I both have went through like, so many different peaks and valleys, but I try to look at my collection like I'm a general manager. And what I mean by that is like, I'm not afraid to mix it up. Like, I'm not afraid, like if I see a card that I really want to get, maybe I'll trade this or sell this or whatever to get that, something I want more. So it's like, you're always kind of building like you would like a professional sports team. You're always trying to improve your collection.
Well, I got one piece of advice for you. You're probably not going to win a whole lot considering how many Russell Westbrooks you have.
Oh, dang.
I had to. Okay.
Oh, shots fired. Shots fired.
No, but you're right. You're right. And then, there's people like me who have a history of very focused collections. I get into trend and I build, extremely focused on players or sets or whatever that might be. And then there's people who do it from an investment level. There's people who do it, they just collect whatever they see at any time that piques their interest they like. There's no wrong or right thing to collect. There's really not. Except for one thing that I always tell people, be careful taking too big a risk trying to catch the next big thing. I mean, there's nothing wrong with taking some risks, and doing that. You kind of have to at times, especially if you're maybe investing a little bit. But I've seen people, they're always looking at whatever prospect's hot at any time in baseball or whatever rookie's hot in basketball anytime, and they'll go and they'll throw all their money into that one player. And I typically tell people don't do that. You're probably going to lose in the long run.
Mad respect, Joel.
Guys, I'm from Oklahoma, like Andy is, and big Thunder fan. I was kidding. I'm a big Westbrook fan. I just had to give him a hard time because he's the general manager. Now,
we get it. We get it. He hasn't won a championship yet. All right. So another thing that for new people coming in, and this can go for like everybody as well. And I know you and I have talked about this before. Is especially you'll see this a lot in like Facebook groups, Instagram, right? Where they'll have a card, they're trying to sell it. How are they gonna price it, Michael? Tell me how they're gonna price it.
If they're gonna sell something,
yeah,
it's high. It's just crazy high.
No, what are they using to price?
I don't know. I guess I don't know what you're getting at here.
They're gonna use the eBay comp, right?
Oh, the eBay comp. Okay, I get what you're saying now.
And we've discussed this before, and if it's something that, like, if it's a card that maybe doesn't sell that often, I mean, you can use the comp as kind of a guideline.
It's a general guideline.
But you have to think about this too. Like if you're saying, if you have a card and the last one you're saying, oh, the last one on eBay sold for 500, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, if it was an auction, what that's telling you is the guy that was willing to pay the most for that card already has one.
He's gone. He's out of the market for it.
He already has one. So,
or the other argument is, Andy, is why didn't you just buy that one?
Yeah, and I mean, I get the whole premise of it, but some people they're like, oh, well, this one sold on eBay for $600 2 months ago, so that's what I'm want for it. There's no negotiating. That's
or my other favorite thing when somebody lists it on Instagram or Facebook or something, and they put DM me or PM me for price. That's just code for my price is way too freaking high.
Oh, thank you, Mike. I appreciate that. Oh man, look at this! We got all the guys in here. Mr. Dave, Blue Jacket 66 in here. Saw Canadian Mike's in here. Nats Man, Grant. Look at all that. Scott. Oof. Got some heavy hitters in here.
All the heavy hitters in here.
So another thing that I've noticed, and this has to do a lot with more new people coming in, is a lot of people are coming in to they hear about all the money that's going on in the hobby, right? So they're going to come in, they're going to try to make money. So what happens is you have a lot of new YouTube channels that pop up, and they're investors. They're going to show you how to do this and show you how to do that, and just do what they say, and you're just going to be sitting home counting money, right?
Yep.
Just fall back on piles of hundreds. Well, just because somebody puts, investor as, in the title of their YouTube name, or they put investment in the title of their video, it doesn't mean they know what the hell they're talking about, right?
No. Two things I can say on this for sure. Most of them tell you to buy the best players in the sport. Well, no shit. Everybody knows that. Everybody knows buy Michael Jordan, LeBron James. That's no kidding. And on the other side, a lot of what they're telling you to buy, it's what they're selling. It's what they have. It's pretty simple. It's very simple. I mean, just be careful when you're dealing with these people. Just
beware of that. And I've noticed, I've watched several of them, several different, newer ones that have popped up, and some of them are people that have, they've been around and they kind of know what's going on. Some of them,
oh yeah, sure.
Some of them are clueless. Some of them have, their own motives that they're, trying to take care of. And, a lot of them, like they talk about, they're gonna give you these great investment, guys to buy, but a lot of them, what they're doing is they're telling you what's already happened.
Of course.
Who doesn't do that already?
It's because they bought that stuff when it was cheap. Now they're wanting to sell it. Or I always say this too is, you get on YouTube and you look at channels or Instagram, wherever, eBay, it doesn't matter where. You look at the people who have the best collections. They're not flipping stuff, constantly flipping stuff. They buy this stuff, they hold on to it for a while. They're usually the ones that come out on top because they know what they're doing. In the short term, are some of these investor guys, are they going to win out? Probably. But there's some guys out there that have had cards in their collection for 20 years and they've got the best collections. It's because they kind of hang on to that stuff and they're collecting long term, and their collections are going to be worth more somewhere down the road compared to what they paid for it than a lot of these investment level people. Just the way it is.
And that's why, like, another piece of advice that I would give, and this goes for everybody too, well, not like we're experts or anything. This is just our opinions, but I think one of the things you want to do is take time to learn not only about the players that you're going to be collecting, but take time to learn about the cards. And that's one of the things that is the most impressive about you as a collector is just the detail in which you can talk about like 90s baseball or basketball or even football cards. Like, you can tell like, hey, the serial number is a little bit off on the back of this one, or the color is a little bit different. This one, this is a card that's been reprinted before. Like you're kind of like to the 90s era. Like I kind of view you like, kind of like what Dave Blue Jacket is to like, like the food and beverage stuff. Like he's like the vintage whisperer,
Well, it's people like myself and some of the other people who are in this room, and yourself included on a lot of sets. I've held millions of cards. I've opened so many cards, so many packs. You get used to seeing trends with them, or I've owned so many different ones. You see a lot of that where they just look suspicious to you. You can't tell somebody exactly what it is or what looks off, but there's just things about it don't look right. Like some people I've seen with vintage cards, I'm always impressed when they can look at one that's not graded and they can tell you if it's been trimmed just instantly because it just looks a little bit smaller, and I'm always impressed by that when people do it. But they've done it because they've looked at cards. They're not just buying cards on the internet for a certain price and turn around and reselling it, for a higher price. They love the cards, so they spent time looking at them and enjoying them, and that's how you learn. It's just the way it goes.
Yeah, and that's something that it's harder to do in this day and age because more and more transactions are done online.
Yep.
And there's some things, and this as good as anybody, there's some cards especially, you just need to have that card in your hand and physically be able to look at it to tell certain things about it. You can't tell. There's a lot of stuff you just cannot tell about a card when you're looking at it online.
Oh, you're absolutely right. There's a few sets that I won't touch it unless I know exactly where that card came from. I have to know its pedigree, very, very well trusted. I'll tell you, 97, 98 Precious Metal Gems, the championship ones, there's a few tells on those that I can tell from pictures, but that doesn't mean that the people making them aren't learning the same thing and getting better at making them. I know for a fact there's tons of those in graded holders, BGS and PSA ones. A Jordan one now is $50,000 card. Would you buy one of those without being able to see it in hand? I wouldn't. And even if I could see it in hand, and I'm not saying I'm an expert, but I'm pretty good with those. Even if I held it in my hand, I wouldn't trust it a whole lot. So, we're getting down to the point. There are some sets that you have to be very, 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 very cautious with.
Well, I've known you long enough, and we've obviously been friends over the years, and we've talked enough about this stuff that I'll call you an expert on 90s stuff because, I mean, I just know that, I don't know of anybody else that knows as much just about the details of these 90s cards. And the reason that you know all that stuff is because you love those cards and you're passionate about it, right? Like you have to. That's one thing. If you're coming into this hobby, and you're gonna, even if your goal is to make money, you need to learn about this stuff because you can get burned big time on certain things just by not knowing the details.
Need to put up a Nats man's comment over here about the 80s. Can we call 80s vintage now?
Oh yeah,
I agree with Dave. No, we can't. And I know you were joking, Nats man.
Yeah, I mean it's one of those things. I guess at a certain point, I guess we all get old enough where things from our childhood become vintage. But
I know Andy just had a birthday a couple months ago. I'm fixing to have one. I'm fixing to be 38 in about 6 days. So
I'm not ready to call it vintage yet. What's up, Mike and Luke, North Collector guys in here? This was Scott's comment. He was talking about some of the investor guys on YouTube, and I mean, I'm not saying that everybody out there is trying to be slick, but just be weary, because I mean, people have different motives for different things that they put out. I mean,
as long as they're buying stuff legitimately, just buying it, they're not altering the card, they're not doing anything shady, nothing like that, and they're turning and reselling it for a profit. That the flipping game like that doesn't bother me. It never has. It's no different than the stock market or anything else. It's the people who do the shady things.
There's Brian, Mr. Hank Greenberg collector. I saw him in here earlier. I was gonna just make sure that said hi to him. So Grant says he just turned 46. Well, happy birthday, Grant.
Nats man's got the same birthday as I do. I'm 6'1". He's 10 years older than me though.
Yeah. All right. So what else do you got, Michael? You got anything else you want to talk about?
We kind of touched on 2020 Bowman a little bit. I was going to, like I said, talk about Jason Dominguez. We didn't touch on him a lot. So I've been looking at his prices a lot just since 2020 Bowman came out, and I won't say the price Andy gave for his Acuna. He's got an Acuna orange, Bowman Chrome orange, and I just asked him earlier, "Hey, what'd you give for that?" Just messing with him, and when he told me it was significantly lower than what comparable cards of Jason Dominguez are selling for. Which is crazy. I know, I know he's all the talent in the world. And he may end up being good, but a 17-year-old that hasn't done anything yet, you compare prices to somebody that's in the majors, just one of the best players in baseball. It's crazy. It's crazy to me. And I think I was telling Andy earlier. I looked and $10,000, and I think I saw somewhere where like a gold first edition gold sold for like $30,000 or something. I mean, crazy. And then I was telling Andy, like his non-auto base chromes are bringing $100.
That's
unreal to me.
It is unreal, but man, I've been trying to come to terms with these prices for like the last couple of months, and I guess maybe I'm just kind of starting to get used to this as being the new normal. So it's
there's two ideas behind it for me when I look at it. It's one, it's if he becomes the next Mike Trout, I wish I would have bought him all day long for $100.
Yeah,
that's the idea. And then the other idea is, what if he ends up being Byron Buxton?
Or worse. I mean,
or worse. Yeah, or worse.
See, Raider Nation 75. Yeah, man. Everything's got a price, right? He's wanting the Bayside. The Bayside
Tigers.
Yeah, throw me an offer up there.
I'm with you. I'm with you right there. I don't trust him with the two S's in his name.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't trust a 2S Jason either.
And every year there's the next prospect, the next guy comes out, and we all think, oh, he's the next Mike Trout. He's big time. This may be one that might fall in that category, and then playing for the Yankees, I think, is really what gives it that extra boost. I think that's a big deal. And then coming into the league so young. I mean, we may see him at the major leagues when he's 19 years old. I mean, it could happen, 18, 19. If that happens, and he ends up being remotely good the first couple of years, the prices are going to go up higher than they are right now. Are they going down? I didn't really follow them the first.
I would think they would. I mean,
yeah, I could see them leveling off for sure.
Oh, Canadian Mike, Brian Taylor 2.0. Let's hope.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen Buxton, we've seen Jason Hayward, we've seen a lot of these guys who are the best prospect in baseball. Their prices be high, but we've never seen anybody sell like this early on. Not even close.
Well, I mean, if you look back in the history of baseball, most great prospects end up being busts.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Absolutely.
That's just part of it. I mean, that's not anything that's new, but the new trend over the last, it's been happening over the last several years, but even more so now to a bigger extent is, their perceived future greatness is already baked in before they've done anything.
Oh, no doubt. It's kind of not fair to them, the pressure, but it's also too, like, you separate real baseball from hobby, and you look at the hobby as a whole. I mean, part of the reason his prices are so high is just the inflated prices in the market as a whole right now. I mean, if it was 5 years ago and we were talking, I mean, who was a big time guy 5 years ago? His prices would be a third, literally.
Yeah, that's a good point there. Be greedy when people are fearful when they're greedy.
Yep.
Oh, yes.
We got Greg Jeffries being mentioned over here, Jerome Walton.
You're damn right. I remember Jerome Walton and Dwight Smith, man. You're talking to a Cubs fan here. I remember Dwight Smith and Jerome Walton.
Yep.
Yeah. Mark Pryor, Kerry Wood.
Yeah, those guys.
What about Brooks Kieschnick? You remember him?
Who?
Brooks Kieschnick. You remember him?
Yeah, I remember him. Mike Olt.
Yeah, Mike Olt.
He had vision problems real bad.
Oh.
Junior Felix was not Junior Felix. What was his name?
Felix Jose.
Felix Jose.
There was a Junior Felix too.
It was a Junior Felix. What was the guy that hit the 3 home runs when we were in Chicago that time for the Cubs?
Oh gosh.
He was supposed to be like the next big thing, and he didn't last very long.
He hit Junior Lake. Yeah.
Andy and I were in Chicago in 2013, and we were at the National, and we decided we were going to watch a Cubs game, and so we drive over to Wrigley Park, like right across the street. They were starting to get better, but they weren't very good. This was during Puig Mania. Puig was up. Had just got called up probably for maybe a month at that time. We walk across the street after parking. Like, there's almost nobody down there. I walk up to the ticket booth and just asked them for the 2 best tickets they had. We literally sat first row, essentially right behind the dugout.
Yeah, they're right by the dugout.
And they were $100 a ticket each.
Yeah.
And so like we were at the gate where like they were letting the musicians and stuff go in that were singing the national anthem with Imagine Dragons, I think so it was, and yep, Eric Puig did home run the game, but Junior Lake, I think it was 3 home runs he hit in the game.
2, I think
2, maybe 2, but still, to think about $100 a ticket first row like that, it's pretty cool.
What I remember about that game, other than those home runs that you talked about, was the ending. Kenley Jansen comes in.
Yes.
Facing Darwin Barney, and he just sits there and just fastball, boom, fastball, boom, fastball, boom. He never even. I don't even think he's
never got that on the shoulder.
Yeah.
Yeah. Eric says
Eric was there. Okay.
Yeah.
Sweet. Yeah. Kenley Jansen just blew Darwin Barney away, which that's not surprising. A lot of people tend to do that.
But I just remember that. I remember Junior Lake specifically, and Starlin Castro was still on the Cubs, and Anthony Rizzo was starting to kind of rise to being the leader of the team at that time, and they had just drafted Chris Bryant just 2 months before that. You kind of saw that was the rise of the Cubs kind of coming on. Short-lived, but
the Cubs were terrible. That's why we were able to just walk up and get front row seats.
Oh, they were terrible, but they were starting to kind of turn it around. But to be able to walk up there and get front row, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, that's. I'm doing good, man. How are you? So, are you ready for a little random five action?
Yeah, you didn't tell me what it was about. Obviously, it's random, but you told me it'd be painful.
So I did say that it would be painful.
Racing since
before we hopped on here, we never tell each other what the random five is going to be, but I told Michael that this will be a painful one. So, what are 5 cards? And I'm gonna put a little. There's going to be a little caveat in there for you because it can't be Grant Hill related for you. Because there would be there's several that would be it'd be all Grant Hills probably.
Yeah. For me, it would be
5 cards that you used to own that have exploded in value since you got rid of them. Let's make it painful. Bring the pain.
So 5 cards. So number 1, I think for me is pretty easy, and that would be I pulled a 98-99 Topps Series 2 Topps. I pulled a gold label red label Jordan back in 2013, 14, right there somewhere. I don't know what that card would sell for now. At that time too, I graded it. It was the highest graded by BGS. It was the only 9. There was no 9.5s, no other 9s. I don't remember what I sold for. I sold it for maybe $1,500, but I can tell you it's worth a lot more than $1,500 now. They're still brutal to find.
I think there was didn't they just have a documentary about the Bulls or something?
They just had a documentary about the Bulls. I think it was called The Last Dance.
Yeah. I think that might have
a documentary about me selling some of my Bull stuff or Jordan stuff that I used to have, but
might have increased a little bit. So what else
increased? But that one probably is up there. We know the 75 Topps Lynn Swan that I had once. Remember that one?
Yeah, I remember that.
So I had this 75 Topps Lynn Swan that I sold it raw. It was just beautiful card, perfect. I sold it, and the guy I sold it to graded, and it got a BGS 9.5. 75 Topps Lynn Swan. This is a long time ago, and I don't know what that card would be worth now. I think I sold it for $50, $75 back then.
I don't even think this was back I don't even think we even graded anything.
No, I didn't know what graded was. I mean, I knew what I'd seen cards in graded cases, and stuff, but I had no idea how to submit, anything, nothing like that. And so that one stings real bad for sure. The 2 96, 97 Topps Chrome refractors of Kobe that I had, sold both of them raw, when I was working on that set. And I guess you could include almost every card in that set all in one bundle, but those 2 cards for sure sting.
How much did you get for your Kobe's?
$1,000 each. $1,000 each. I bought one of them, came in that big collection I bought. I gave like $5,000 for this 800 card 96, 97 Topps Chrome refractor collection that I'd bought. Had 1 Jordan in it, 2 Nash PSA 9s, 2 Iverson PSA 9s, 2 Ray Allens. It was a massive collection for $5,000.
Basically, you could just say that whole collection.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That all of my 96, 97 Topps Chrome refractors at that time. What else? Oh, my 97, 98 PMG, red PMG of the larger one that I pulled. I pulled it. I opened the box, and it was the first card in the pack, or first pack. I see red right off the bat, and pulled out. It's a larger one. No chipping at all. No chipping whatsoever. Beautiful condition, which obviously that's tough. Sold it for about $700. I don't know what they bring now, but a lot more than that. Yes. That's pretty funny.
So is that 4?
4 maybe. I'm trying to think what my 5th would be. Oh, I easy 5th. I should have thought about this earlier. So when you probably remember this. When we were younger, bought a big collection off of eBay one time, and it just had a bunch of vintage in it, a bunch of 90s stuff, some 86 Fleers. There was a 33 Gaudi Lajoie in there. Do you remember this, Andy?
Oh, yeah.
I thought it was fake. I didn't know any different. I sold it on eBay. This is like in, I don't know, 01 probably. The guy graded it PSA authentic. It was in terrible shape, like crinkled up, missing corners. I don't know what that would be worth now.
But it was a Lajoie. Huh? It was a real 33 Gaudi Lajoie.
It was a real 33 Lajoie, yeah. And this was back in the early 2000s when you remember we used to do the same thing. People put these huge lots of cards on eBay. Putting lots together was kind of the cool thing to do.
Man, we got comedians in the.
Putting lots together was the cool thing to do on eBay, and so me and another guy had bought just this huge collection. And there was a freaking Lajoie in there that I thought was fake.
Yep, it is insane, Brian.
Yeah.
So let me bring a little pain to the conversation.
Let's hear it.
I was kind of looking back at some of the cards that I've had, and so one of the first ones that I can remember, it was like a bigger card, was an 86 Fleer, Hakeem Olajuwon, a PSA 10.
Yeah.
And I think back then when I had it, they were probably about $400 to $500.
Didn't you buy it in the Drexler at the same time one time?
I don't think I had a 10 of a Drexler. I think I just had the Olajuwon.
I remember when you had them.
I had a Drexler before, but the Olajuwon, it's probably like $400 or $500. So I'm guessing I was probably sold it for about $500 back then. And I was looking at prices, like they're selling for about $2,500, $2,600 now.
Yeah.
So that's, it's a little painful, right? I mean,
right.
90 score supplemental Emmitt Smith.
Oh, those things. You had a ton of those.
So I had one submission with PSA where I had 11 PSA 10s of that. And, they were about $250, $300 probably at that time. They're about $1,200 each now. 90. Okay, you had a 96 Kobe refractor, right?
2 of them, yeah.
I had a 98 Topps Chrome refractor of Kobe.
PSA 10.
That I bought it off eBay raw for like $25, $30.
Yeah.
Got it graded. It was like one of the first PSA 10s ever graded on that card. I think I sold it for like maybe $100, $125. I mean, it's got to be worth thousands now.
Oh, yeah. As tough as that set is, oh, yeah.
Well, yeah, it's got to be at least a couple grand. Number 4, the 2007 Topps Chrome refractor of Kevin Durant. So I had a PSA 10 of that card, and my brother had 3 of them, and we sold all of them for around $2,000 each, and now they're about $7,500
each.
Ouch. And then another card that I had at the same time. This was like, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 years ago. The 2003 Topps Chrome Dwayne Wade refractor in a PSA 10. I had 2 of them. And what I did is I bought 2 of them for $150 each. And they got up to $300. I'm like, yeah, man, I better
let these go.
I better double my money on these. And yeah, they're going for about $2,400 now each. But that's the kind of stuff. If you've been in this hobby very long, and you do buy, sell, trade, all that kind of stuff, everybody's going to have stories like this. That's this is yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you, Scott. Like, honestly, I was thinking about this, and probably in 2013, I probably pulled a Giannis base card, and I probably didn't even know it, at the time. Like, I'd never even heard of him. I probably sold it for like a couple of bucks. Oh, wow. Let's see this here. 3 years ago, got the entire 86 Fleer set for 500. Jordan came back in 8.5. Well, that's a good story, Grant, as long as you still have it.
That's a.
Well, I'm sure you got more for it, even if you don't. So,
I mean,
let's see.
I've had some other just brutal ones. A lot of mine are ones cards I pulled, especially when I was prospecting. I just think about my Aaron Judges that I pulled. Like I said, I busted 30-something cases of 2013 Bowman draft. I mean, I sold
This is a good point, and I love the name, the channel name.
Cardboard Farmer. I like it.
Yeah, man. If you never sell, you never make a profit. That's true. Let's see what this is here. Either of you have any Zion Prism base rookies? Yes, I actually have 2 of them. I have 2 of the base and 1 of the green, and they're currently in a PSA order that was they logged it in January, so I expect to have it back in maybe 3 or 4 years. So I've got a few of them.
I sold. Let's see. I had 5 base Zions. I sold 3 of them graded BGS 9.5s. I sold all 3 of those, and then I sold 2 raw. I had a silver prism that I pulled. I sold it as a BGS 9, and I had a green that I sold as a BGS 9.5.
So he's asking, in 2 years, where do you think that card will be in price based on the new blood coming into the hobby?
If he's healthy, they go up. If he's not healthy, they go down. To me,
yeah, I would.
Simple.
I would kind of agree with that, and I know that's like not much of an answer, but I mean, it's hard to predict stuff like that with a guy that's that's as talented as he is, but also has the possibility of injuries, and then it's hard. He's one of the tougher guys, I think, that's come into the league in the last several years to really project. And it's just a health thing. I mean, I don't doubt the talent at all.
If he can average 75 games a year for the next 2 years, if a base car, if it's going for 500 now, it'll be 750, 800 then, or something comparable. It's going to go up, I think.
Yeah. JT says I'll get the Zions back before he gets in the Hall of Fame, maybe.
maybe not.
Oh,
that's PSA. Yeah, they're taking forever. It's I know some other people that have had theirs as long as your order's been there too, and crazy how long the orders are taking.
I'm actually been getting some cards ready to send to JT for a group submission. He's doing the PSA group submission now, so if anybody wants to get in on that, hit up Mr. JT, Triple Crown 24. He's sponsoring the show tonight, so I thought I would go ahead and put that in.
Corporate sponsor, JT.
Yeah, he's corporate sponsor tonight. So what else do you got, Michael? Do you got anything else?
I see a question down. Natsman's got a question right there.
This one?
Yeah, I haven't really done. I'm an auction person. If I'm going to list it, I typically just throw it up at auction, let it go. Andy and I were talking about a card. He was looking at maybe making an offer on or something the other day. He goes to watch it, and I won't say the card or the price, but the guy the next day essentially doubles the price.
And that's happened to me at least 2 times that I can remember just in the last couple of weeks, where I was looking at a card. So I put it on my watch list. It's just a buy it now. There's no best offers for it. And I think that they have it priced too high. So I'm probably just going to message the guy, see if he's got any room to negotiate on it. And then they double the price of it. Like that's happened twice just recently. And I mean, these were not cheap cards. Like, I mean, they're doubling it by like thousands of dollars. Just, I don't know, just for whatever, no reason, I guess. Let's see. I really don't know about that, Mike.
I'd say no, just because they're open back up and people are flooding them with orders, right? I mean,
I can say that they're probably going to be faster than they were when they were closed. I mean, I can definitely say that they're going to be faster than when they were closed. Yeah. Let's see. I'm trying to look through here, see if there's any more good questions here. I hate to miss any good questions. Sometimes we get to,
or maybe some bad questions.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes we get to. That's a good point, JT. The new format that they're doing for bulk submissions. You have to, they have it broken down into like, ultra modern, vintage, stuff like that. So I think that'll help a little bit, having those separated, because I'm sure they have different graders that probably specialize in, different sets and different eras. So that way they can just send that whole order to somebody that knows about it.
That's got to help. I mean, everything. That's. I don't think any of us, myself included, understand probably the kind of volume that they're getting at this point in time. I mean, they're getting a ton.
Oh yeah.
Incredible.
Good question, Scott. When do you think we'll have hoops back? Man, I'm hoping like maybe July. That's kind of what I'm hoping. And I don't know what they're going to do as far as like, because I mean, like if you're one of those bottom teams like the Warriors and teams like that, you don't want to come back and play anymore this year. I mean, you're in last place. You're staying in last place. I mean, you don't have anything to play for. You don't want to risk anything really, because
you don't want to run Klay Thompson out there now. I mean, there's no reason to.
I mean, if you're a team like that, the worst case scenario is you come back and you win a few games and
it costs you a draft pick.
Yeah, it cost you
or you get somebody hurt that's going to help you next year, because that's the other thing too. And I was listening to a podcast there that the gap between the end of this season and next season now is going to be shortened. So
they're going to have to push back next season.
Oh yeah, they will. I mean, they're going to have to, but still, they're going to have to start in the fall sometime.
I saw one scenario where if they start back, like say in July, that they're probably going to push like the opening of next season until Christmas Day.
I saw mid-December, so yeah, something like that.
That would be kind of neat, I guess, to have like this opening night on Christmas Day, because they always have Christmas games anyway. So,
but then look what that does to even next year's schedule. How much later they're going to be playing the playoffs next year, and so on and so forth.
Oh yeah, it's going to throw it off for sure. But
maybe one season they got to play. Maybe next season they got to play a shorter season. Maybe only play 50 games like they did back in '98. I don't know.
Yeah, all teams in Orlando. Yeah, I've heard something similar to that. Grant, I was watching Sports Center earlier, and they were talking about it a little bit.
And then Andy, we're getting running out of time here a little bit. But one thing I was going to bring up and talk about a little bit, is baseball. Is coming back, and the whole Blake Snell thing, and some of these comments going around, and I always, how I am. I always side with the players on these types of things. I do. I'm a big advocate when everybody says baseball players make too much money. They, those owners. I always say, well, the owners pay them that money because they're making money on. Those owners are businessmen, and so the players should get what they can. This instance, I do not side with the player, and I'm okay with Blake Snell having comments or thoughts to himself, like, I don't want to play for a reduced salary. Well, you know what? Nobody wants to work for a reduced salary. Nobody wants to do that. But a spoiled millionaire making millions of dollars saying he's not going to play because of his health and things like that, or risking his life. Yeah, I thought that was bad on his part.
I mean, it's hard to it's like it's going to be really difficult for baseball if they make this a money thing.
Yep.
Either way, like if it's, owners, players, I mean, if they make this about money, I mean, dude, there are already baseball has already fallen way behind the NBA and the NFL.
Oh, yeah.
And this, I mean, I think it could be potentially devastating to baseball if they have some kind of, if it's some kind of money thing.
Labor money strike.
Yeah, if that's what prevents them from coming back and playing this season, there's going to be a lot of people, I think, that jump ship.
Oh, yeah. Well, and I thought as soon as all this happened, I thought baseball was the one sport, or this may be the one opportunity for baseball to get a lot of its fan base back by playing earlier, like June 1st, because they're not, it's not like football and basketball where they're really physical against each other. I thought they had a chance to do that. And man, I think they've kind of already kind of screwed up a little bit. And then you've got some of your best players, 2 years ago, Blake Snell wins the Cy Young Award, and you got him being one of the front ones saying he's not going to play for a reduced salary, and you got Bryce Harper supporting him and things like that. And man, you know what? That's okay, to have those thoughts, but man, when you go in the media, people are not going to feel sorry for him at all.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah.
That's how I feel too, Scott. Like, I mean, there's people out there that are, they're working real jobs. Like, I mean, I think
people have lost real jobs that can't go get them.
I mean, I think all of us in here, they're all sports fans. I mean, I think any of us would give up our job to go play Major League Baseball today, wouldn't you? I mean,
for the league minimum. And that was another thing Andy and I were talking about one day was he plays for Tampa, which is, small market. They're always good. They always produce good guys. How many guys are on that team that are probably playing for the league minimum? I don't know that number, but it's a lot. I can tell you just because of the way they run their organization. What does that say for those other guys? Like, I'm not going to play for a third of my salary, which is $10 million or whatever he makes a year, when the other guys play a whole season for, $500,000 or $600,000 or whatever it is.
Oh yeah.
If I was a teammate, I'd have been ticked off. If I was other players around the league, I'd be ticked off.
Oh yes, I love this.
That's
number one, it.
But and on the flip side, there's been some players that have came out and said, I don't feel comfortable bringing all the players into one city and not being able to leave and travel back home and things like that because of the virus. I think that's okay. I think this is all my opinions, but that's okay for people to talk about those types of things. I know Mike Trout, I've heard him talk about it a little bit where his wife's pregnant and, doesn't want to, potentially cause any problems. I get that. I think most people do, but like you nailed it on the head is money. When it comes down to money, man, don't even bring it up right now. I mean, how many people have lost their jobs, and it's just ridiculous.
Yep. Good point here by Ed.
I agree.
Yeah, it's definitely, I mean, that's the thing is like, I mean, these guys, they need to look back. I mean, if you're a student of history, you don't have to look back very far to where baseball really hurt themselves with, the strike. What was it back in 94? Yeah.
94, yeah.
And it really it didn't fully recover until, McGuire and Sosa cheated and got the home run race going.
Mm-hmm.
That's another little documentary that's coming up.
Coming up.
I didn't watch the I guess they're doing one on Lance Armstrong right now. I didn't watch the first episode of it last night. I kind of know what happened. I mean, he cheated and he lied about it. Yeah. I just love this name of this channel. I just can't get over that, man. That's awesome. Where are you from, Cardboard Farmer? Hopefully he'll say, man, that's
it's probably like Nebraska.
You think so?
Yeah, I just got a feeling it's gonna be Nebraska. I don't know why.
Okay.
There's nothing else to do in Nebraska for them. I used to drive there all the time on the way to North Dakota. It's
yeah, talk about a place where there's not much to do.
no.
North Dakota.
Well, I mean, you know, when you drive from Oklahoma to North Dakota, you go through Kansas, Nebraska, South Dakota, North Dakota. It's rough.
Yeah.
We need an answer from him before we call it quits. I got to know where he's from.
Oh, Wesker Griff say he's saying maybe Iowa. That's
I like
possibility.
Iowa is actually a nice looking area. I like it.
I'm pretty pumped about this one if it ever happens. The Sid Bream documentary. Yeah, that would be. What would you call that one? The Immaculate Slide or the famous slide?
Bream of Hope.
Bream of Hope. Yeah.
Michigan. I would have not. I totally didn't guess Michigan. That's
Michigan. Sweet. All right. Very good. So what do you got? You got anything in closing here?
Nope. I'll have I should have my last package of stuff coming in tomorrow. Some cards I got coming in, some no more cards, and then I got one more collection update video to do. So if anybody didn't watch my other ones, go over and check them out. Field of Dreams.
Field of Dreams.
I like it.
Yeah, definitely. And I'll put a when I post this, I'll put a link to your channel in the description of this video, because I mean, like, you've been showing some really cool stuff, and I think the thing that could be really appealing to not only people that have been in this hobby for a long time, but to newer collectors is just the way that you talk about the cards. Like, it's not just, you don't just show the card and go to the next one. Like, you tell them about the card and what to look for and stuff like that.
Probably too much detail, but that's okay.
I mean, people need to know these things. Like, if you're going to collect these types of cards, you need to know what it is you're buying and what to look for, because there will be people out there that try to rip you off. So
always. Well, the other reason I do it too is it's one thing to look at cards on a picture of a card or a scan of a card, but seeing them on video, and obviously in hand's better, but seeing them on video, you're able to move it around. You can show the differences and stuff, and I enjoy doing that. I just enjoy the cards.
Awesome, Abel. Good to see you, buddy. And so Brian wants to sub. Yeah, Brian, I'll put a link to Michael's channel in the comments, because
cards is what it is. Double X the Beast, obviously, that's what it stands for.
Yeah, because I mean, there's seriously, there's really no one else that I know of out there that's as knowledgeable about those 90s issues. And I've seen a lot of people lately, and I think you're in a Facebook group, I think, with Bill, Hall of Fame collector, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's dove into that 90s era.
His Maddoxes are pretty sweet.
He's another one too that, like, he in his videos, he's not just going to show you the cards, but he's gonna tell you about the cards, and that's like the pack odds and stuff, like all that stuff just like off the top of your head. And I mean, it's just
like that.
It's just crazy. I like to watch both of y'all's channels because of just the details and the information, because there's so much out there to learn about these.
I still learn stuff all the time. I mean, which is part of the reason I like doing it, and I still learn nonstop.
Oh yeah, definitely. My vote for most knowledgeable I've ever got is for my back pages.
For those back pages.
My back. I mean, Eric knows his stuff.
Eric knows pretty much every era.
There's so many guys that are on here that, I mean, they really know their stuff. And the reason that they do is because, they enjoy it. I mean,
Well, like I always tell everybody, you get ready to buy something, sometimes reach out to one of these guys, reach out to me, find somebody that is not in it for just money that can help you make a rational decision. If you're on the fence about something, don't bear that decision all on your own. I mean, ask somebody, because somebody will help you. I mean, not everybody's out trying to do investor videos to take your money. I mean, a lot of guys we just enjoy it and just ask an opinion.
Oh yeah, and that's the thing. It's like, it's okay to talk about the money and stuff, but like if you want to get into this and you really stick with it, I mean, you have to have like a love for not only sports, but you have to have a love for the cards and the hobby in general, and just you enjoy interacting with the people. That's like one of my favorite things about the whole thing. It's like getting to know people and sharing stories about cards and just whatever. It's a great little community, of sports card collectors. I mean,
Yep, it is for sure.
All right. Well, I appreciate everybody joining us. Lots of good questions, information. We had a few guys that kept us entertained with little jokes. Cardboard, I think it was Cardboard Kid 71 that had the Nolan Ryan.
It was firing them off there for a while, and Cardboard Farmer. Well, that's a great name. I like it.
Yeah. So lots of old friends, new friends in here. So it was oh wait, I gotta see what this is here first. You have to tell me what it was, BF Golf. I gotta hear this before I get off here. He I do know one thing, just while I'm waiting on this, on him to comment, like he actually Michael Jordan actually came to Oklahoma City a couple of years ago, and he inducted Russell Westbrook into the Oklahoma Sports Hall of Fame.
Good. Yep. True story.
And if you know anything about Jordan, which I think, even the ones of us that knew quite a bit learned a lot about him in this Last Dance, he doesn't do that for just anybody.
No. I think he appreciates anybody with that killer instinct, that mindset. I think,
Oh, see, I love it.
And Wesker Griff over here, I like the Chick-fil-A comment that the spicy deluxe is delicious, but every once in a while, like 1 out of 10 of them you get, they're so hot you can barely eat them, which is weird. I don't know why. Occasionally you get one that's just hotter than the others, but they are phenomenal. Look at those. You're going the wrong way there. Yeah.
Look at the Westbrooks.
Look at those Westbrooks.
Oh man, that's awesome. Yeah. All right, guys. Well, thanks for joining us and interacting with us. Appreciate it, and we will catch you guys next time.
Thank you, guys.